All right, this question comes from Jeremy Sweeta. I hope they didn't butcher that name. But your question is how to train around injuries. That's a great question because if you're a hardcore lifter, hardcore bodybuilder, you're going to encounter some injuries one point or another. And you can't just stop every time you get a little boo-boo. So the shoulder is what you're most concerned with. And I have had a torn labrum for about 15 years now. I was prepping for a national show, and I was doing heavy leg presses, just like this, holding on tight. Had like 10 plates on each side. And just from holding on so tight, my arm came right out. Pulled my own arm out of the socket. And it went right back in, but it's never been the same ever since. It's painful just if I move it like this, just that little bit. But obviously I can still train. I have a little lack of range of motion, and some deep tissue massage helps it with the range of motion. But when I do a front double bicep, I really have to crank this arm back or it doesn't go due to that injury. But I've been able to train around it. Now the simple answer is, when you go to the doctor and they say, when I do this, it hurts. Well, don't do this. All right? Whatever motion hurts it, don't do it. It's not always that easy. So, as far as training shoulders for a bodybuilder, I'm able to do pretty much everything. But if something really aggravates it, I will avoid it. If there's any grinding or popping constant, I will avoid that and move on to something else. But what I've found through the years is that I start really, really light. So I usually start my shoulder workouts with a rear delt movement. So it could be just 30 pounds on the machine, or a reverse pec deck, and just slowly get blood in there. I'll do 2 or 3 really light sets of 15, 20 reps and get as much blood flowing as possible. I'll also stretch in between every set to help increase the range of motion, and just slowly add weight to that movement. Some days it takes longer than others. If I'm doing a bench press, I'll do one plate, 135, 15 to 20 reps. Then I'll do it again. I won't just jump right up to 225. I'll do that, for a few sets, getting more and more blood in there. All right. So for shoulders, I would start with a rear fly pec deck. Then I might go over to a rope, a high pull, and try to get more and more and more blood in there. Start with a 5-pound front raise. Learn to control and contract the muscle as opposed to worrying about how much weight you're going to move. The weight will go up as you get stronger, as you get more and more comfortable with these motions and practicing your muscle to mind connection. You have to be able to control the motion and to feel the muscle to get anything out of it. So the weight should be pretty much irrelevant. I can take a 5-pound dumbbell and get a good pump from it. What do you think we do backstage? We don't have heavy weight back there. We just get a pump using 5, 10, maybe 15-pound dumbbells, and that's about it. So, just keep moving. Try to do a lot of drop sets, a lot of pause reps, a lot of squeezing, so it's not all about the weight. When it becomes about the weight, you're more likely to aggravate an injury or create a new one. So just try flexing the muscle. If you're doing a side raise, flex and hold that side delt. If you're doing a rear delt, flex and hold that rear delt. Same thing to the front. If you see me doing pressing movements, oftentimes I look like I'm really ballistic when I'm doing them, because there's a lot of speed in it. But it is controlled at the same time. I'm still flexing the muscle. It's actually under constant tension because I can't lock out and give it rest. It's a constant pump. So I'm still controlling it. I wouldn't advise people, the people I train, unless they're really, really advanced, I don't advise them to do anything overly fast. So don't always go by what you see. Go by what you feel and how that muscle is responding. So that's about it. When it comes to training around an injury with the shoulder, practice the motions. Do the motions you can do pain-free or somewhat pain-free. Practice, constant tension on the muscle. You can make it more difficult by pausing. You can pause at the top, pause at the bottom of the motion. Do whatever you can to make that weight feel heavier. And you should get stronger and be able to do that same thing with heavier weight over time. So good luck. I hope this made sense, and I look forward to hearing back from you with some good results. Alright, this is the Boston Mass. Thanks again for watching. Now, if you're not subscribing, subscribe now. Tell all your friends to subscribe. If you haven't, do it now. Alright?